Natalie, this is Terry. This is our piece of music. It's called The First Time. We're going through it for the first time. We've done the verse. Let's do the chorus.
For the first time. Yeah. You were talking earlier before the break about patterns and shapes and pictures, and if you look at the chorus, if you look at bar 13, you can see that it's only one note, and that note is A. Should be easy. First note we learned, so we should be okay with that one. Even I can play that. And there's only one note throughout that bar, and the bar is divided up in terms of rhythm into eighth notes.
Yes. So
that's very easy. It's just A, and it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Before I play it, let's take a look at the second bar.
Yeah. Looks pretty similar.
And the third bar.
Also looks very similar. That's all the same note, isn't it?
So for those three bars, I can just lock in and rock out, just playing A, eighth notes.
Yeah.
Okay, the fourth bar, I've got a bit of work to do. Just put that to one side for a minute and go to the next bar, which is bar 17.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same rhythm, isn't it?
There you go. So good news and bad news. The good news is that all the time we spent learning eighth notes and practicing them with fluency and control paid off. You know, if you do all that work, you'll be ready. All these skills that we've been working on throughout the Essential Bass Skills course, they're the same skills that I use, the same skills that any bass player uses, irrespective of where you know, what he's doing, what gig he's doing, whether he's rehearsing, whether he's practicing, whether he's live at Wembley Stadium making you know, a concert. It doesn't matter. It's the same stuff. You just spend as much time as you can perfecting those skills.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So let's play a bit of the chorus. The first few bars, the first three bars, as we just became aware of, are A, and they're eighth notes. So I'm going to play that with my first finger.
Okay. On
the 5th fret of the E string, the fourth string. And remember, it's eighth notes, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and.
And our picking hand?
Picking hand needs to be alternating.
Running along those strings.
There you go. So let's try it.
Okay.
We'll just play the first three bars of the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. A and 2 and 3 and 4 and A and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and.
That's pretty easy.
That's no problem with that. So let's move on. The next bar, bar 16, slightly different, two different rhythms, two quarter notes first. So change of rhythm. But the good news is that they're still only A's.
Yeah.
So A quarter note followed by A quarter note, and then the eighth notes are G.
Yeah, that's an eighth note.
And then an F right at the end.
And G down to the F. So this is going to be the trickier bit, isn't it?
That's definitely a tricky bar, and so having had rushed through the first three bars, feeling really proud of myself, I might just stop the clock and say, let's just take a look at this bar and make sure that I don't waste all that good work in the earlier bars. That's going to be a tricky bar. It needs a little more attention, so I'm going to just work on that now. So it's A, G, 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 F. And I'm just going to loop that bar round and round. A, G, 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 F. And I'm making sure I open out my hand so I can cover that distance. A, I'm playing with my fourth finger.
Yeah.
The G, I'm playing with my second finger on the 3rd fret. And then I'm saving my first finger right down there for the F.
The good thing about that, even though it is maybe slightly tricky because you're having to move along, it's all on that same string, so there's no string crossing.
It's all along the same string, and we used exercises in earlier lessons where we were using different fingers.
Yes. So we're spreading the hands out,
And the good news now is once I've had a good look at that bar, bar 16, I know that bar 17, I'm already on the right note, it's F, and I just have to play eighth notes for how many bars? 1, 2, 3 bars.
3 bars. And then that last bar of the chorus is, again, a little bit tricky, like the last bar of the first line.
But it's exactly the same rhythm. So again, that point you made earlier about patterns, really important reading skill, to be able to recognise those patterns repeated on the music, just as it's important to be able to recognise shapes and patterns on the fingerboard.
Okay, let's have a listen to the chorus.
Let's try the chorus.
And then let's try it all.
Yeah, great. Here we go then, the chorus, starting on A, playing eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and A and 2 and 3 and 4. A, here comes the tricky bar. A, G, 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 F, F and 2 and 3 and
So it's
4
flowing, isn't it? I mean, like you said, that last note is continuing on now with the eighth notes.
And now the tricky bit, which I'll try and read, goes F, F, G, 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 C. So I knew the rhythm there wasn't going to bug me. I tried to remember the rhythm I'd played in the earlier bar 16, and then copy that rhythm. So I was only kind of half reading. I was just reading for the pitch. It's just like a shopping list. Don't forget to pick these notes up.
Let's just go through that last bar, because I mean the rhythm, like you said, is that 1, 2, 3 and 4 and...
Perfect. So I just need to get the notes. I know the first two notes are still F.
Yeah, because you're coming off your eighth notes there, yeah.
F, F. Next to it is G, and I know that's G because I've seen it before. Didn't I play that G in bar 16? Oh, yeah, I did. OK, fine. So the rhythm is F, F, G, 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 C, back up to the C, which is the very same C we played at the beginning in the verse in the first half, because what's coming up next is a verse.
OK, so we've got the...
complete cycle, as it were.
Let's go through the fingers and frets and strings.
For that last bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's first finger on the first fret of the E string.
Yeah.
Quarter note,
That's
and
F.
then I'm probably going to use my little finger.
Up to the third fret, same string.
Same string.
That's the E string that we've done there.
And then little finger up. So I've kind of, having opened my hand out earlier, I'm now closing it up a bit. So I use the techniques to help me be comfortable. When I need to open my hand out, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to spend the whole day practicing with my hand like that. It's never going to last. So where I can close it down, I do.
Do so. All right. Well, let's... We've got the tune. We've got, going back to the beginning, there was verse 1.
Yeah.
Which we studied in the first part of our lesson. Then we've got the chorus, and then verse 2, and then chorus 2, and then verse 3. So this is quite a simple song structure, isn't it?
And there you go again, recognising patterns and repetition. It's verse 1, chorus 1, verse 2, chorus 2, verse 3. So there is a structure to this. There's lots of repetition. When I play through it now in a second, it'll become immediately apparent that there are slight differences in those verses. Those differences aren't really fundamental or significant. There's no different notes. It's what we were talking about earlier, how bass players and drummers, especially as part of the rhythm section, vary or change the rhythm just a little bit. Otherwise, the song would be the same throughout, and everyone would be kind of, you know, getting bored with it. So to keep that interest and that intensity, we change the rhythm. There's nothing to be worried about. None of the rhythms are any different. We've played all the rhythms necessary in verse 1 and chorus 1. We've played all the notes necessary. So we took a long time getting verse 1 and chorus 1 down. But the benefit of that is that stuff's going to come up again and again in verse 2 and chorus 2 and so on and so forth.
Let's hear it.
Let's do it.
All right, pushing play for you. Here we
Thank
go.
you.
This is Terry Gregory. It's quite quick, isn't it?
It's quicker than we've been practicing because I would advocate practicing things a bit more slowly so you can see the detail. Quarter notes now.
That's our chorus 1.
Not yet.
Oh.
And now chorus 1.
Here comes chorus 1. That is quick, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be quite a challenge.
And when we take our level 1, our first grade in bass, what speed do we have to be playing this at? Can we play this slower at 80 or 60?
I'm finding it difficult to talk at the moment.
It's all right,
I'm
I'll let you play
concentrating on playing. Okay, now here's some octave shapes. C octave, F octave, G octave, A octave, F octave, and then back to
our 8th notes.
So this is repetition. G. This also is repetition, the low F. Big finish.
If I was on the drums, I'd be doing a big drumming finish with you as well. Good
Did I
show,
pass, do you think?
If I was offering the grade, I'd give it to you, yes.
What we would do, I guess, is record that and play it again, record it and then analyse it and then see what the percentage mark is, and then we'll know how well I've done.
So the question I asked when you were mid-flow, which I apologise, never distract a musician when he's mid-flow, but was when we do our exam, when we want to take our sort of grade 1, would we have to perform it at that speed?
No, we can slow the tempo down a bit so that we're comfortable. And in any case, I would slow it down a bit, because as we found when we got into the track, it was racing along at quite a pace. So it's unrealistic to attempt to do that first, second, third time through. Take your time, slow it down, practice it section by section, play it without the click like we did before, without the equaliser, and only when you feel comfortable, put it in. And even then, as you say, just slow the tempo down.
Yeah, it's something that we build up to, and I mean that's core to the whole Gigajam course that we've been studying in these last 10 lessons.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be thinking about playing the first time unless I'd done the first lesson and the second lesson and the third lesson
and
picked up all those skills all the way through. Got a lot more skill than you think, probably, if you go through that carefully.
No, I mean, this is called the Essential Bass Skills course Part 1. There are many parts to follow, but this is really, I mean, this is the first course that you study. We're not beginners now, though, are we?
Absolutely not. No, I mean, it's a really good foundation, a solid grounding. And as I said earlier, all the skills are skills that us professional bass players use all the time, every day, every gig, every session, every recording, and every practice session.
Terry, thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure.
I've enjoyed it.